Welcome back. Here's where you left off. Spoilers ahead for chapters 6 through 10 of Convergence, Book 5, Desperate Measures.
Well, that was a surprising turn of events there. I did not expected that. I did not expected a certain
so much
character
to talk about
showed
here.
up.
So much to talk about.
I know. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. I was waiting for my wife to pick her. I was picking her up, and I was in that book, that part of the chapter. I'm like, holy crap! What the hell's going on here? Hold on. So I was a little excited at the same time. I was like, I did not expect this character to show up until 2 books from now. Okay? And how yeah, I was just surprised. How about you? Were you surprised?
You know, I wasn't so much. I was starting to question whether or not there was a different group involved in the last segment. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the last one. I was starting to question it. And then when we started to read through it, I was like, huh. And then we got to the point, and just before there was the reveal, I knew who it was. I was like, oh, it has to be. And there it was, right? And there's just so much to unpack there. But it's funny how when we do the show, we randomly set off and have cliffhanger moments in our reviews, and I just love when that happens, where Kaz is falling or whatever in the cliffhanger moment of the chapter. It was really great.
It was the end of chapter 10. I agree with you, because remember, audience, this is not by design. It was just by accident. And Derek, I want to give Derek a credit in this one, because he's the one who actually puts the reading the reading assignment for both of us. And you're right. Majority of the time, we actually ended in a way that's like, I have to wait until we record this episode before we continue reading. Right. So, but I do want to talk about our mystery guest, our mystery character that showed up. I want to introduce you to Theo. And when the character showed up,
I was gonna leave it till later on, but okay, let's just dive right in.
Sorry, I broke out. But when he showed up, and he
just seemed excited about talking about Theo.
I was when the scene was being described in the middle of a tower. How ironic, and Kaz was chained up, and this figure that he can't see from his head up, and just started creating a fire. He was like, "Holy crap! Another wizard!" Oh no! And the way it was written, that I felt like Kaz was defeated from the inside out. Right, and when the conversations, when both of them start having conversation, that's when Cass start figuring out new things about Theo and his ability. Were you surprised about his ability?
One of the things that I really gotta credit Craig with his writing is that even though once I figured this out, the kind of loophole that he put through, and the really interesting twist that I was just loving, was that Kaz knows more than Theo. And Theo's supposed to have, decades of training and has all the knowledge of the order. And Theo hasn't been to the Nether, can't do certain things that Kaz can do, feels that, even though it's not true, that Kaz has magic that he doesn't. Kaz is, think about it. If you built up this villain in your head to be the biggest baddie in the world, and it's like meeting your hero or something, you finally meet them and they let you down, and you're like, really? You don't know how to do that? You haven't been to the Nether? You don't know about this? How many magical creatures do you have under your belt? I got 4 going on right now. How about you, buddy? Seriously, it's this is my crew. I got a genie. I got a cat. I got ogre. I got a
couple of nights as well.
Couple of nights, like who do you have? What was the guy's name? Joseph or
Smiley?
Whatever. He mentioned the guy's
Smithers, Smiley. I don't know,
something like that. Anyways, like he's got one henchman and he's revealed his identity to one person. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, Kaz, you really have it together compared to this guy. And even breaking out of the handcuffs was a really good scene where Theo was like, oh shit.
Well, the best one is like when he says like, I don't know how to make weapons appear, and Kaz was like, I just summoned it. You're such a loser. And it's kind of funny though, because the ability between them is like, you can actually see Theo is a lot more experienced, a lot more, I want to say, powerful regarding, because of his knowledge base, because of his because he's been practicing magic for longer than Kaz. But at the same time, Kaz's abilities are a lot more what a wizard's supposed to be, right? And Theo is more like what a wizard, just learning to do new things. It's like, if you look at a lane here, you got Theo and you got Kaz. Kaz forwarded all the way to the middle of a 500 meter run to halfway, but Theo is moving up slowly because he had to learn it by himself, right? And through books and all that stuff. But Kaz had to learn it on the spot. So
Kaz is learning this on the fly in a war. He has to learn it. There's been hard learned lessons, and he's willing to approach it from a let's see what breaks perspective, right? And just learning about it. And then, because really the information he's been given has been virtually nil. I mean, he's taken risks, he's done that. But when Theo approaches it as if, the information he has is the only information, and because he's had more time to practice his fireballs or whatever you might want to say, he believes that he's superior to Kaz, but he has no concept of what Kaz has done up to this point. And the fact he's not with the Order anymore means that most likely the Order has more information than Theo does about what Kaz is up to. He says, I haven't talked to them in a while. We parted ways. So Theo really is a megalomaniac, who's basically thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. And Kaz is coming along just being like, I got lots of people. I mean, it's interesting because I wonder if Theo in the next few chapters I'm jumping ahead, but I wonder if Theo is going to come out and encounter Kevin or like the genie or any of these creatures, because remember, he hasn't experienced any of this stuff. He's never met a magical creature as far as we know, other than Signy, right? So I think he might, I don't remember exactly if they talked about him knowing. Yeah,
he does. Signy, yeah, he's the one who got Signy from her.
Yes.
World.
Yeah. So I mean, he knows about the Nether. He understands, but he hasn't been there, right, in doing that. And so he almost fears it, but he also wants to use the Nether gods for his purposes. And he sort of takes this approach of, it's better to serve on your knees than, that kind of idea, right? It's that kind of mentality in his head where I'll rule Earth, I'll let them rule whatever else if I help them, kind of mentality. And I wonder, it creates a new angle between the Order and Certus and Theo. Now we have a trifecta of everybody's fighting everybody else, which actually adds a new layer to it, which I really enjoyed. I've been rambling here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because you actually said it correctly. The Theo is, the best way to describe it is Theo is book smart, and Kaz is street smarts, right? And for him saying that I've never been to the Nether, that's a red flag. Even Kaz already said this is a red flag. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how powerful the gods are. And they actually had a debate which god is going to be better suited to rule their world. Nordic gods, or for example, the Egyptian gods, or the Greek god, or the Roman gods. It can be anything. So Theo is trying to convince Kaz that, hey, we're better off being ruled by gods, but we have to choose the right one. Can you really choose the right god to rule over humanity? It's kind of hard. This is where Kaz is sort of like thinking to himself, is like, what the hell is this guy's? What's wrong with this guy? Is this guy like out of like he's just gone, right? And the information that he's receiving, the information that he's going with, it's based on his research, based on the book that he's researched, book that he captured, book that he's been using to learn magic. But at the same time, you have Kaz went to those worlds and he knows that, hey, this is a bad idea. He even said, how about the Atlantis? And Theo automatically said, well, you don't believe everything in that you read. It's just a make-believe. Half the stuff that he knows, that Kaz knows, that he knows it's true, Theo thinks it's just a make-believe. It can be anything. So this is where you see the comparison between them, because if you look at even Theo has already said that he'd been using his magic to provide protection for orders and for the criminals to hide their identity, for example. And compared to Kaz, he's been using his ability to try to not to be caught by the authority, and he hasn't been using his magic for profit, if you look at it that way. So there is stark contrast between what, again, Theo's book smart, Kaz is street smart, and they when they collide where we are right now in the book, you can actually see the difference of how they're learning magic. And this is actually, in my opinion, this is going to be a very pinnacle part of the storyline now, because you have this clashes of titans, for example, that two different abilities.
Right. Well, you have Theo. I mean, Theo may realize now that Kaz got out of the cuffs and all that he has ability that he didn't think that he did. Maybe his arrogance won't let him believe it, but he knows that Kaz has more up his sleeve. But I'd love to see the moment where he encounters the genie or Duke or whatever and is like scratching his head like, how did you do that? That's the moment I want to hear from. And in the next few chapters, I don't know if Theo's just going to disappear into the smoke or if he's going to get into a battle with Kaz. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we just had the meeting between the two of them. Theo will run away. They'll rescue Kaz, kind of thing. That's my prediction for the next few chapters. And then Kaz is going to get an earful from Annie because, well, when he went and rescued her, she basically said, like, oh my God, I got to find a new wizard. Like, just because you're so stupid, come and rescue me. Like what are you doing?
It's kind of funny, though, because you actually said it correctly. Even what's her name? I can't remember the fairy's name now. Sydney. I don't know why I keep forgetting her name. The fairy lady.
It's Sydney. Sydney or Sydney?
Sydney.
S-I-G.
Jesus.
Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Sydney.
So hold it. Blame it on Craig. If you call her Sydney, I don't mind. I'm not gonna correct you.
Sydney
I just want you to know that people are gonna say it's not right.
Sydney with a G. Here's the thing. Even Sydney already said that when she was having conversation with Mike and Isabel, that you guys are not doing anything. You guys already failed. The only person that I trust right now is this wizard. And this wizard is doing whatever it takes to get her rescued. I don't know why you guys are just sitting around doing nothing. And she even says that, Mike said, we have protocol, and Sydney literally says that, yeah, the protocol does not work. Think about it. Grow up. She's literally telling Mike to grow up and look at the big picture here, because Kaz has already said that if Annie gets caught or killed, theoretically, Certus is over. It's done. It's going to take a while for them to rebuild. Right, and Kaz thought about that, and Kaz knows. And remember, even Isabel already said several times that Kaz will not do anything without a plan. Because remember, before Isabel, Mike, Macarius, and forgot her name now. I'm really bad at names. The Knights, they he was by himself. He was literally by himself trying to figure this out and trying not to get caught. He has to be 10 steps ahead of everything else. And him doing this mission by himself, he knows what he's doing. And unfortunately, Mike and Isabel is literally babying him and saying, no, you can't do this. Oh, no, here's a pacifier. Go sit in a corner. That's literally what's happening here. And for him to go out and say, I'm going to save Annie because you guys are just sitting around doing nothing. And now he's doing it. And for him to being yelled at, I'm just hoping he'll just, you know what? Screw you guys. You guys didn't do crap. I did. So sit down and learn something. That's my opinion. What do you think about that, Derek?
Very opinionated about this. Well, I think that like Mike, I agree with you that Certus has to change now. Their entire mission was to find a wizard. They've done that. They've succeeded. Now you have to change tactics. Certus now has to become an organization that supports the thing they were trying to find. They can no longer work in the shadows the way they used to, right? So it's really on Annie to reorganize the organization around Kaz. Yes, they want to protect him. I get that. But he's like your instrument, of battle, right? He's your warship. He's your tank, whatever you want to call him. You have to support that with other vessels, whatever. You want to get an analogy here going. Like your aircraft carrier. You want to surround him with other things, right, that are going to support him in doing that. And, basically have him like a battle group and have a bunch of people around him to support him and have him go off and do the fight because that's what he's trying to do, And even now with the knowledge that Theo isn't with the Order, I would even make the argument that Annie could go to the Order and be like, look, Theo's not good for either of us. Like, you might want to have the Convergence come in, but if he wins, then he's going to just destroy you anyway. So let's work together. Like, I mean, there could be the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of argument is there with the Order. I just wonder if we're going to go in that direction at all. Interesting thought, though, right?
Yeah. For Certus to go to, if Annie decides to go to the Order and say, hey, your buddy and my buddy, the monster that we made, that we literally made, literally wants this to happen, and we have to work together, right? But here's another thought, though. Do you think the reason why the Order's trying to get Kaz is not because they're trying to start the Convergence? They're trying to stop it as well? Because of Theo?
No, let's talk about the other elephant in the room, which is the fact that Theo and Kaz are half brothers from the same father.
Tum.
Yeah, exactly. So it appears that for whatever reason is that the Order has been looking for these brothers, quote unquote, to be together or to do that, and that both organizations know that. And I think Kaz is going to have a good old conversation with Annie again, because this has to be something she knows. This just has to be something she knows about. I mean, it just seems rather unusual. And I mean, sure, Kaz's mother is different than the other mother of Theo, so forth, so on. No biggie. But the real question is, who is his father? Like, who is that person? That's what I want to know.
Sperm donor. I don't know. But yeah, for them being half brothers like that, it's kind of funny though, because when Theo started calling him brother, I'm like, cool, brother in arms. They're together. They're wizards. Next thing you know, no, we're actually brothers. Kaz's reaction is like, sorry, what? And Theo's reaction, well, my father, we're brothers with different mothers here, dude. So they're like, even Theo is like, hey, we don't even know who our mother is. Your mother could be a whore, So, and Kaz is like, what? Shut your mouth, So it's kind of funny that they're bonding based on the father that they don't know. Kaz was literally grew up with a parent that he sort of knows that he knows, but he never knows enough that, oh my gosh, I have a brother, right? Because
the interesting.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just meant like the interesting thing is that Theo has information that Kaz doesn't, which is relevant. But the information he has doesn't seem to be impactful in this moment. Kaz seems to have more relevant information, where Theo has more information Kaz might find interesting. Even Theo talks about the convergence and so forth and so on, but he doesn't know the details that Kaz has simply learned by solving things. Remember, Theo had access to the same books that Kaz did, right? And he didn't realize that there were secret pages or hidden pages, blah, 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 magic stuff. So Kaz, in a way, is a smarter guy than Theo. Theo's more like a thug, and Kaz is more like a researcher, curiosity kind of person to try to figure this stuff out. So I would make the argument that Kaz is a better wizard as a whole based on this conversation they had and based on previous information we have. What do you think?
Yeah, no, you're right. If we just look at the conversation that they're having right now, like just before, like when they met, that's what I'm saying earlier, that Theo, book-wise, he's a smart guy. He knows what to do in a situation that if he gets put in a situation, he knows what to do. But if you look at Kaz's situation, it's like, I'm in this situation. I can't just like magically remove whatever or make fires in my hand, but I can use magic for the practical reasons, right? So it's like saying I'm going to university, but the other person's going to trade school. Who has more life experience at the end?
Actually, that's a really good analogy, because
Yeah.
Kaz has good trade school experience now. He's out, he's doing it. That's a really good analogy. I like that. We need to remember that one.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. But no, I'm saying
I really don't need to stroke your ego. Okay.
Keep stroking, my friend. Keep stroking. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the final chapter there, chapter 10. And it's interesting where Kaz is in this hole at the bottom of a tower, and he's trying to get out. And I love that Duke's trying to save him, man. He's like,
well, of course
he
he
doesn't have the
is.
skills. He's trying to save him, but then, the rope slips and so forth. I wonder if Duke is going to fall in with him, or if he's going to simply fall down to the bottom where all those jagged rocks are at, or so forth. I wonder how Kaz is going to get out of that. Although I'm going to make an assumption that somebody like Mike or somebody is just going to grab the rope. I mean, I'm just making this argument now that, Duke is up there with the rope in his mouth and so forth, right? Doing that. Or I would love for Kevin to show up, by the way. I would like for just Kevin to show up. And
I love Kevin.
Just Theo's down there, and just have Kevin to show up and be like, what the heck is that? Have Kevin be like, just whack him.
Yeah, he'd be like, hi, I'm Kevin. Smack.
Smack. Yeah.
But you made a good point though, because right now at the end of chapter 10, Kaz is in the tower at the bottom, and Duke was trying to help him, but he noticed that Duke is so close to the edge, he's going to fall. So Kaz theoretically sacrificed himself to save Duke, right? And where we left Isabel too, Isabel, Mike, and Giselle was fighting and shooting people, right? I have a feeling that anything happens, I have this feeling that you're right. Three of them will definitely help him to get out, but I have a feeling it'll be like a very comedic experience. Like Mike, Isabel, and Giselle looking downward, and Cass look upward. Hi guys, guess who I saw? And that's when it'll be like, fuck.
You won't believe what kind of day I've had.
Exactly. It's like, so how's you guys? My gosh, my day just went downhill from here. I'm just scraping the bar on the barrel of my day today, guys. So I have this feeling it's going to be one of those scenarios, right? So
I mentioned what I think is going to happen next. What do you think is your prediction for the next few chapters?
I have a feeling that it's going to be a yelling match between Mike, Isabel, and Annie. and there's going to be a lot of like Kaz will be yelling. He's going to be a lot more vocal because remember, throughout the series itself, he's getting a lot more vocal regarding the situation that he is in now, right? And he's always been saying that we need to save Annie, but none of them willing to do it except him. So there's going to be a lot of like, they're going to tell, you're putting your life in danger, you should not be doing that. And he's going to reply back, well, you guys are sitting around doing nothing, you guys are a bunch of cowards. Literally, that's what's going to be that kind of conversation. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait. So yeah.
Join us next time as we review chapters 11 through 14 of Convergence Book 5, Desperate Measures. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.